And it came out, this is CSI Hard Evidence, and it came out the end of September on PC and Xbox 360, and it's going to be out for Wii in a couple months. And what's kind of unique about this is it's the first CSI game to come out on the Xbox 360, and kind of how that happened was we were working on a PC game. This is the second one that we made for CSI, and some people at the publisher saw it and said, you know, that looks really good, we'd like to bring this to a wider audience. So we ended up porting all of our tools over to the Xbox 360 and the Wii so that we could bring it out for those platforms also. And the way the CSI games work, you have 5 cases to solve. They sell at retail and come with 5 cases. And it's basically you're the partner of somebody from the TV show. So in this case, we're Nick Stokes' partner. And we've come to this crime scene where a cab driver has been burned to death in his cab, and we have to find out what happened. And there's a lot of, you know, forensics work using the fingerprint brush and the luminol and all the stuff that you see on the show all the time. So, you know, we're going to start by taking a look at this guy. We'll open up our toolbox, take a picture of the scene. And as you go through the cases, it'll, we kind of piece together what happened. So based on the forensics that we find, the CSIs will tell us, well, what does that mean about this particular, you know, what we found, what does that mean about the crime, and what can we deduce from that?
Do you play like one specific character in this game?
You play, we're kind of the anonymous partner. So it's unlike Sam & Max, which is a third-person game. This is a first-person game. So the idea is we're actually the partner, and you know, if we go over and talk to our partner Nick here. Oops. Anyway, I'm not sure if I can get to him, but you can talk to the CSIs. You can go into the lab and kind of interact with the CSIs and figure out the case together. And that's something, the CSI games have always been like that. There were 3 CSI games made before Telltale got involved, and we follow kind of the same format that was set up by the original. But the you know, the gameplay itself is really very similar to a game like Sam & Max or other adventure games. So here he's talking to us now. You know, where there's kind of a story, and it's like an episode of the TV show. By the end of the case, we're going to find out what happened, but we have to kind of get there using forensics.
So when you solve a crime, do you then get a more difficult one after that?
That's a good question. I don't think they're actually more difficult as you go through, but our CSI games, compared to the ones that came before them, we work really hard to make them more difficult, because one of the complaints about the early games was that they were too short and too easy. And for a TV viewing audience, that might be okay because they're not gamers, but for a gaming audience, you want something that's more challenging. So you've actually got some more complicated gameplay in our games, and then there's also bonuses. You know, if you look around the crime scene and see things that might not be critical to the case, but you find, you know, you look in all the nooks and crannies, you get more points. There's a little thing here with bugs too. Grissom is a bug fan. He's you know, a bug guy. So if you find a bug kind of crawling around the scene, I think there's one in here, and pick it up. And if you find all of them, you get extra points in the end. So that's, you know, ways that it kind of adds a little layer of challenge and a little layer of just more puzzling to it. So here's a guy, he's in an old pizza box, we're just going to pick him up. And what happens is at the end of the case, you get an evaluation based on how well you did. And if you did well and you get the master ranking, then you get to unlock bonuses.
Are the cases really difficult to figure out?
They're not really difficult to figure out. You know, we really are trying to appeal to a more mainstream audience. So I wouldn't say they're really difficult, but they're sneaky. You know, there's a lot of twists and turns. It's not always the person you think it's going to be. So in the end, you'll be surprised by who did it. You know, we really work hard to make it something that surprises you in the end.
Awesome. This game looks like a lot of fun. Thanks a lot.